back with the group now.
And actually, you'll catch up with them right about the time they arrive at the wood edge.
Oh, hey, y'all.
Were you able to take care of everything properly? I'm hoping that everything was properly resolved with. No air quotes. I put on the act a little bit thick because I was hoping to ease him up for whatever was coming next for you.
Oh yeah, we're all set.
Good. Family reconciliation is important. Fear sometimes just helps make that happen.
Amen.
You're not a normal priest, Father.
From off the shoulder.
What part? Did you think I was joking when I said I was what the church sent to make sure that things that go bump in the night stop bumping?
I mean, to be completely honest, I ain't been into a church in a long time. So. I will pat you in the back, but I feel like that's a bad idea now.
Please don't.
What time of day are we getting into now?
By now it'd be towards the end of the afternoon, heading into early evening.
Ah, perfect.
Dinner time.
Hey there again, Gazzy.
And she opens her eyes. Oh, hey y'all. Come on in. Can you let them in? And the horse just sort of stamp aside. They were kind of out of the way anyway.
Oh, you be nice. They're good boys.
I was just enjoying a little bit of the cool air and a little warm fire. I like that mixed message on my skin, you know.
Yeah, speaking of fire, if someone had a real close examination of what can go wrong in such case, and we need some help. I did my best.
Man of Smythe, could I bother you for your healing arts? Would be greatly appreciated.
Sure.
I turn around.
Oh yeah, I see. Oh.
I did my best. I did my best.
What never mind. Come on in.
He touched something he shouldn't have in my house. That's the only explanation you need.
Yeah. Come on in, all y'all. You come in, and when you come into the kitchen area. Just have a seat. Let me sit on the seat with your back facing out, not the other way.
Yeah. I find a place to drop the child.
Why don't you?
Where can
Manny,
I put her down?
You look really exhausted. Why don't you go on upstairs and you can take a nap? There's some beds up there. First door on the left. It's got a nice big cozy bed.
Thank you, Miss Gazzy.
Anyone else need to sleep a little bit?
I was just gonna
This may
ask.
take a little while.
Do you mind if we all rest here for the night?
You can go on up. I got rooms up there.
Oh, I'll be all right. But Walter sits down on a couch and almost immediately falls asleep like an old man.
You can pick any of the other rooms except the one on the right. That one's mine. So let me get my tools. She goes and gets some stuff from off a couple of different counters and some salves and whatnot. And immediately you see her take out these, they look like long kind of tongs. And you start feeling things being picked out of your back. Smaller things and bits of stuff. Yeah, you had it taken special. She usually reserves these for workers in mines and stuff.
I attempted to exercise the heart of John Barleycorn.
What? And why? Both of those, I think, are valid questions at the moment, but...
The why, because I was very tired of being drunk, and I was in an addled state due to being drunk against my will.
And
you only got a few more days of
explosives.
You only got a few days of it. pick.
Do you know what we do in St. Louis?
Oh, I know what you do.
We make the most beer in the country. Alcohol is not a problem for me.
Oh, that's true. They're known for that water they call beer.
So you say. Anyways, alcohol is not an issue for me. Besides, we have some of the best distilleries within the country also on the Betty Banks of the Mississippi.
Most of
Your
the priests I've
moonshines.
ever known, best drunks that you could possibly find.
It's
You
one of the
pick 'em
few
out and
vices.
start
It's
wiping on salves and goo and
one of the few vices we're allowed to have.
And after maybe an hour or so, you start to feel like a coolness on your back and the pain of all the pokes and bits and stuff seems to fade away. And then she starts covering it with like a big cloth. I'm gonna wrap this over your shoulders to hold it on, but you're gonna need a couple of days to let this thing.
Don't have a couple of days.
Well, then you're gonna have to wear this nasty thing, and it's gonna start to smell.
That's fine. Do you have something do you have additional bandages I could change out of for it? I can replace the bandages at the very least.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
That'll be fine.
You look like you ought to get some sleep too.
I will, unfortunately. So, in communities as these, I find that women like you work with other women like you in matters of grave importance.
Yeah, we got the craftivists. We
Sounds
gather
like
and do crafts and whatnot, and sometimes, chase off spirits and things.
There is. John Barleycorn came to retrieve his heart.
I'm not sure if you're talking in symbolism.
Literal terms. Tegan's roof was ripped off, and the beating heart of John Barleycorn was taken by a representation of a manifestation of John Barleycorn.
Well, I'll be.
Yeah, so like the first bonfire in the town center, someone used some of the bleeding tree, aka the carpenter lady we brought in with the splinter,
Yeah,
used
Miss
some of the
Crandall.
bleeding tree, and summoned a heart that got people real drunk, and apparently that's the heart of John Barleycorn.
I wonder if it goes away after Prohibition.
Probably not, because people are still going to want the alcohol.
Well, I'll be. Boy, that's some powerful. That's some powerful drawing of the spirit, both as a pun and not as a pun.
Also, there's a house haunted by the mine,
that
the guilty
house.
mine. And also
Don't go in that house.
Oh, that's too late. Also, there's a giant worm thing in the mines that are gonna explode and kill us all, apparently. Just normal Tuesday.
Didn't I just see y'all like a day or two ago?
Yeah.
All this happened in that little span of time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little tired. Y'all are a little tired. Why don't we get some sleep and gather in the morning, and we can talk about what to do and figure out how.
Walter snores in agreeance.
What a day you all had.
Quite.
All right, well, I got some things to take care of down in the basement. I'll be up in a few hours. You all can sleep, and I'll wake you up in the morning. Father, you can take the last. Well, if it hasn't been taken, the last room on the end. It has kind of the nicest view over the fields out in front.
I have an odd question for you. Two years ago, I'm assuming you know why the church would have dispatched me here.
I had assumptions.
What can you tell me about what happened?
So you don't want to go to sleep tonight?
I am obligated from the church to certain things, and this is one of them.
All right. Well, let me pull up a chair. Hold on, and you guys talk through the night while everyone else rests. I'm not going to rehash it. You actually know what happened, so you get.
I was there.
The story. So you get the story, and you get everything she knows, which is pretty much whatever you knew. In the morning.
Are this?
Huh?
So your granddaughter, is she still in town? If she was an active participant, I'd like to get some words with her at some point.
I don't know. Let me see. She is not in town right now. She's in Sedora, but she'll be back in a couple of days.
When she gets in, if you would mind sending her in whatever direction I am, I would greatly appreciate it. I can promise you no harm will come to her while I'm speaking to her.
Well, I would hope not.
With everything going on, assurances are assurances, is all.
All right. And who is the early riser in this group? Walter, yeah. Walter,
Yeah,
you wake up.
he's on that old man clock, so he's up at like 4:30.
Yeah, at 4:30, you hear the two of them still in the other room talking, and they're talking about the creepy things that happened 2 years ago when a bunch of the teenagers died in town, and a bunch of adults during in the big top of the revival that came in, and it was a bloodbath in there, demonic possession and all that kind of stuff. At least that's what you're told happened. You didn't see it.
Does Walt like kind of know the local rumblings of all of that?
Yeah, everybody talked about it. There were a lot of deaths in a very short span of time there. That it was said that there were demon and ghost possessions, and that the teenagers were calling spirits into themselves to be possessed, supposedly momentarily, so they could ask questions of the dead. And that game turned into a nightmare.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When yeah.
So I kind of roll into the. You said they're in the dining room.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of roll.
They're in the
dining
kitchen.
room,
The kitchen still.
or the kitchen, and. Morning, y'all.
Morning. If you like some coffee, you can make a pot there.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thanks, Gazzy.
Let me check
Y'all-
your
Y'all
back.
are up early.
We ain't gone to bed. We had things to talk about.
Oh my! I don't know how you, Father, are still sitting at this point.
He says he slept for the last day, although kind of in a drunken spin.
I suppose that's true.
Not the worst drunken state I've been in all honesty, but it ranks up there with the top 5.
And she goes, "Let me check your back again." And she peels back the thing. Oh, you'll be all right. This is moving pretty quick. You're a good healer. And she covers back up. You'll be right good in less than a day. The others will start waking up soon. So let me get a little breakfast going, and we can start chatting. Love to hear the rumors.
Am I to assume that we got some recovery rolls?
You do, yeah. You get recovery rolls for a full night's sleep. You got the one for immediate, the 10-minute one, the 4-hour one, and then the full sleep.
Would you mind letting me know what I should roll? Sorry, this is my first time playing Cypher.
So each recovery roll, you get a D6.
And we got all 4 of those?
And you will get 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a full night's sleep.
And then you add it how you want to your scores that need it.
Up to the maximum for each one.
Father Bartimaeus, you get 1 D6 back in against these injuries.
That's fine because I'm only at 5, so if I get real lucky, I clean back up.
You could be all the way back.
5. I will take it. Like it never happened.
That bed you're in, Benny, is so damn comfortable. It is the softest thing you have ever been in. Like, it's like sleeping in a cloud. And there are all these weird books in this room, too. Are you a reader? Do you even read? No? All right.
No, Benny.
I didn't think so.
Benny doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I was thinking about it after a second. I was
Benny,
like, oh, I don't think you know how to read.
I don't. Benny does like looking at pictures, though. So there's a chance that she would poke around at looking at like the covers and the pretty designs and stuff.
Yeah, there are some that have some drawings in them. Some of which are pretty, some of which are perhaps disturbing.
Oh no. Just trying to math.
The one that bothered you the most was on birth and children. That one was just, oh my God, what did I just see?
No, Benny. No. Put the book away. That doesn't happen.
First picture. Oh,
She
no.
didn't look at.
Yep, not for me.
Wash the eyes out real quick.
Fact.
She'll poke just a little bit. She's got her natural curiosity, but then also at some point she's going to smell breakfast. And
Well, there are trinkets and oddities in here like you've not seen anyone have. On the windowsill, there's an animal skull cleaned off, like perfectly cleaned off. And it has flowers inside of it, little tiny ones that kind of stick out through its eyes. There is some kind of sticks that look like they've been burned on the ends, all wrapped up into like a thing you hold. There's a jar of very nice looking honey in the window there. On some of the shelves there are little trinkets, little bells, and you probably don't know what a castanet is, but castanets, which they click in your fingers.
I do. Benny doesn't.
Yeah. Hair pieces that really interesting, and then other things like there's weird baskets with eggs in them, and under the bed there's a pan with oil in it, like cooking oil though, not like oil of the earth. Yeah, there's weird stuff.
I fully. When you started mentioning everything, I think Benny is walking around with some of these hair pieces in her hair.
Okay.
And like has the cassette while she's looking at this stuff. And then, fully like a kid does when they're just touching everything. And I feel like this is going to bite me in the butt. But, Benny's poking around. She's definitely investigating.
I'm picturing Benny like walking around those castanets, like crab walking around, like.
Make me an investigating roll.
Accidentally wild shapes into a crab.
Oh no! I just got all my stuff. Also, fun fact: I have recover, which means I got 5 rolls instead of 4. So I did manage to get after I got all my stats back up. I'm very excited.
Nice.
Okay, so. Oh, nice, 19.
All right. So you are poking around, and you discover there is a small closet in here that's locked, but it seems to be kind of jiggly, the handle.
Well, Robby, you're a bad influence. Okay. No, I'm gonna poke in. I'm gonna try it. Yeah, okay. So I ate some mushrooms and died. But I still am curious. Like, I'm still curious. Plus I'm in Gazzies and I feel safe in Gazzies.
I mean, if you don't do it now, we'll probably be here tomorrow too.
Our daily visit to Gazzy. I love her so much. Okay, I finagle the door and get it open.
All right, and you pull it open. It's kind of a small closet, but when you open it, there is on the shelf a small cage, and you see inside it a snake, and you know a little bit about snakes because you kind of like animals. You know that this is some kind of a rattler. And there's a box that you could probably climb up to get on there. On the back of behind the rattler, there is a mirror that's facing in, so it kind of looks like rattlers into the infinity.
Okay. I feel like Benny knows rattlers and knows that they are little venomous, I believe.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. And so what is going to get up to like look at the cool effect, and then it's going to be like rattlers and Benny heads all the way through, but it's not going to like get close enough that she's not like going to touch at it. She's not.
Yeah.
She's keeping a bit of a distance, but she also like the mirror's doing that cool thing where, and so she's like.
And when you're doing that back and forth, you create this fun effect, and one of the snakes in the mirrors wiggles out over the top of the cage from the mirror itself, and you realize this snake ain't in the cage, but there is one in the cage.
Do I need to roll to not just fall off the back of the box in shock?
You could just choose to fall back, or you could roll to avoid it.
No, I think she fully would. Like
right, you fall back and there's a snake.
She's going like that and then sees it and
it reaches over to the edge and kind of slides down the wall, wiggling down the edge of the door, where the door and the wall are giving it some grip. And it's not a big rattler, but it's a rattlesnake.
She is perfectly still.
Maybe 2.5 feet long. And it wiggles and goes still. under behind the dresser.
Nope. I think she's like, so she's like tiptoeing around. And she like takes off the castanets and puts them, and she takes off the hair pieces and puts them back. And it's just like, oh, breakfast? Is this breakfast time?
And then you smell the cooking.
Breakfast time? And she's gonna like creep out of the room, like watching to make sure that the snake doesn't like bolt out of the room.
It never comes outside the dresser, from what you can tell.
And she's gonna make her way downstairs. And when she gets down, she's gonna go up to Gazzy and like pull on her shirt a little bit. Miss Gazzy.
Yes. You all right? You look like you saw a ghost. And she brings her head down to listen. There's a what in your room?
I realized that my mic kicked. There's a snake in my room.
Oh, would it be do you know anything about snakes?
I do. That's why I came out of the room.
Oh.
So there's one in the cage, and then this one's not in the cage.
Really? Were you playing with some of my toys in there?
I think breakfast smells really good.
I'll take care of it after I'm done here. That snake ain't going very far. Thank you for letting me know, though. I'd rather not have to deal with it after I get bit.
You're welcome.
And Professor, you and Tegan wake up around the same time. Your door's open when you smell the breakfast. Was there anything you needed to do before you headed down? Looking for things to steal and whatnot?
Crossed my mind. But no.
Okay.
She's being hospitable.
And I think Tegan's been up for a little bit, but just staying in their room because she finally has the time to take the broken frame now out of her vest and like tinkle the glass out of her vest a little bit.
Yeah.
And just like carefully has taken the picture out of the frame and just like, it's just been staring at that and then it's like, oh yeah, breakfast.
You go down and the two of you bump into each other heading out of your rooms. You go downstairs to the breakfast and you see that Walter's made a big pot of coffee and Father Bartimaeus looks like is healing up pretty good. All right, you all were smelling it, I can tell. It's ready. Come on, let's go eat. And you eat at the table around this ball in the center, this circular orb. It has like a smokiness moving about inside of it. She takes off. There is a lacy cover to the cloth. She takes that off before she brings the plates out. All right, let's eat. Let's hear what y'all got. I mean, I'm assuming you came here for a reason. I don't think it was all for Father Bartimaeus's back, was it?
Tegan gives full red string theory download to Cassie.
I was literally picturing in my head like you wrapping red yarn around the whole like table and the orb in the middle.
Cassie's used to this from the sewing circle. But Tegan gives a full red string theory download.
Very nice. I like it.
Not saying aliens, but aliens.
So I hear you had a pretty busy couple of days. Okay.
It's been a way more than I ever wanted. This excitement-wise, I was very happy in my little hut in the woods.
How is your house? I heard it
Blew up? Yeah, that's gonna be something to fix.
You know how to fix things. If you need help, I'm sure you can get a bunch of folks will go out there and bring some wood and whatnot and help you out.
Yeah.
It's the middle of winter. No one wants anyone to freeze to death.
Yeah, I mean it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And Tegan's just got like that look of like it will not be fine. It's fine.
Just think of it as a unplanned renovation, Tegan.
Yeah. And I heard that there's a giant ghost or something walking around of the effigy.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Father, but minor deity sounds correct.
Depending on your interpretation, local minor deities, not incorrect. We've seen John Barleycorn throughout all of the Appalachias across Kansas. He's a common American deity at this point. Minor deities, not incorrect.
I think our bigger concern, though, is the mine exploding and all of us dying. That kind of raised to my number one concern.
Why is the mine exploding and who is going to die? Are you going to blow it up?
We saw a giant eye in the mine shaft, and then
Okay.
the doc was like, "Doom and gloom has been spotted in this fire. We will all die."
It's exactly like that.
Exactly like that.
Just because you see something in the fire don't mean that's what's about to happen. You could have been looking in the past. You could have been looking 200 years in the future. Who knows?
But don't you think these earthquakes are something?
Well, the rumblings mean something, that's for sure. my suspicion is they're overmining, but who knows?
Or it's worms.
Or it's worms. I mean, that is definitely now that's crossing my mind. Now that you brought it to us.
I mean, I do have a big concern about the mine because Miss Love did put in a very, very large order of TNT with me, which is outside of the normal channels.
Well, there ain't no normal channels. I mean, they do use mine to open up, bigger veins.
Yeah, but normally you're supposed to buy that stuff from like licensed professionals. And I ain't one of those.
At this time, I don't think there are licensed professionals. There are people who know how to make it, people who don't.
Okay.
I think that's mostly how it works.
Those who know how to make it and don't blow up in the process.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those who know how to make it and don't blow up in the process.
Yeah, the ones that blow up, you don't want to buy it from them.
You do seem quite good at it. I mean, we saw what happened to your house. I hope it's okay to say.
Hey, that was a deity attack. I was not prepared for one of those. I did not account for that.
Yeah.
So,
Gazzy, I got a question for you too now. You're probably one of the wisest women I've ever met. Do you think you could ever tell if somebody's got the gift?
the gift of gab.
Well,
I
I think
tell that.
I think we all know you got that, but I was just wondering if you had any tests you might be able to do on the professor here.
What? What do you mean?
Well, I was just thinking, this coffee is strong enough. It's got me thinking.
That's dangerous.
For anybody who actually you basically ate the coffee because it was mud. I mean, it'll put hair on your chest. I was just thinking to myself, Doc here thinks that mine's gonna explode and that we're all gonna be eaten by worms or something, which I guess in a sense is technically true because one day we're all on the ground and we ain't gonna get eaten by worms. But
True.
I'm just wondering if maybe he's clairvoyant or something like that. And I don't know. Do you got anything you can test for that kind of thing?
There's no
Yep,
test.
this got real wonky at the bleeding tree.
If it comes true, it comes true, and then we'll know.
Well, that's not as helpful as I was hoping for.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to wait for the mountain to explode to be like,
Yeah.
hey, he gifted.
Well, because, he keeps saying we're all going to die. But,
You ought
real
not
soon?
you ought not die. Just avoid the worm. Sounds like a good plan to me.
I mean, we all die at some point.
That is the question, though. What do we do if there is danger coming? Do we avoid it? Do we?
Well, are
tell
you
other
brave
people-
or are you not? If you're brave, you may not avoid it. If you, I don't know. I mean, if there's no reason to be brave, maybe avoiding it would be the best thing.
Are you sure it was a worm and not a snake?
That's a good question. I don't know. It was long and could be either, I suppose.
I slide in front of the professor at the table, look him down in the eye. Tell me exactly what you saw and what you believe it means. Because I wasn't here for this instance, so I'm curious.
Saw what looked like an eruption, and keep in mind this was in a fireplace.
Uh-huh.
From it sprouted these large, what I believe to be worms, and I think that's all I saw out of character.
They were turning verdant valleys into wastelands, and there was
Okay, it was
and they
much worse
kind
than
of
that.
echoed forgotten gods that were resting in the ash.
You remembered only what you wanted to remember. or
So
perhaps forgot what
We
you
were
wanted
destroying everything as they came out. It was like the apocalypse.
Can I do a check against religion on this to see if I can't do some sort of placing in either the Christian belief or any other belief system I might have studied.
Sure.
That is a 17.
You have heard all through history and lots of religions about worms and giant ones, not only just, the ones at the size that they normally are, and fire coming from the mountains. It's pretty typical apocalypse kind of visions.
And you studied literature? No. Linguistics.
Correct. Yes. I've never heard of or seen anything like it.
Out of curiosity, within linguistics, Sumerian, Aquane, where exactly does most of your study fall?
Well, it was in Proto-European languages,
Okay.
but at one point, I came across this book, and he takes out his manuscript, and he opens it, and he starts showing the pages, and
Religion check.
Who are you showing them to?
I'm showing it to everybody. I'm holding it out.
Religion check.
And the pages are there, so he's flipping them, and there's all sorts of glyphs
Natural
and
20.
runes.
What am I looking at, boss?
You don't recognize a single character on any of those pages.
Fantastic. That's almost more terrifying.
And I
But
see
it is
maybe
a pretty big tome. It is not like it's a little light thing. There's a lot here. Professor, can you make me a linguistics check, please?
Sure. I'll put 2 levels of effort into it.
Okay.
Those look like really pretty pictures. Did you draw them?
I did not draw them. They were always there. And I think they've been there for a very long time. I got a 19 and the 2 levels of effort.
All right. So for the first time, you pull this thing out, and you kind of hear the whispering and stuff going on again. And suddenly you realize in the book, the symbols are related to sounds, yes, but it dawns on you that each symbol represents an abstract idea, not a grammar thing. It's not a language like that. It's more like hieroglyphics, where each symbol is representative of some bigger, deeper, maybe darker concept. And it had never dawned on you before that might be what it is. And the more you looked at it, the more you look at it, the more you realize you know what some of those symbols mean. A few of them.
I feel like as he's realizing this, almost that whisper that you hear, he almost starts saying it to himself kind of out loud. What do the symbols mean?
They mention things like oceans boiling, waves crashing over the land, devouring continents, horizon covered in ash, roots of ancient trees rising up and clasping the heavens, and things like that. Apocalyptic kind of stuff.
Snaps out of it for a moment, and
Father, he went into almost like a trance for a moment. I mean, it wasn't long, but it was definite.
And he was speaking in tongues during it?
He was
Pretty much,
whispering
yeah.
something under his breath that you did not recognize any words or anything from.
Does Gazzy respond?
Gazzy is staring at both the professor and the father. Well, and she goes, "Well, ain't that interesting?"
Nothing surprises this lady.
Does the father have the I better get my nails look on his face, or more of the interested look on his face?
Intrigued at the moment.
Okay,
Are you all right, Professor? You kind of
yes,
went
as I was saying,
blank.
this book, it has lots of information, symbols in it, and
Did you just put some of them together?
no, I have over some time been studying it, and I think it's something ancient, something very old. It's no one else at Columbia had seen anything like it. In fact,
When have you dated it to?
I haven't
you're
been
a man
able
of-
to date it.
None of it.
None
Not
of it.
even the paper, not the materials, even the ink being used.
Everything is inconclusive, and it was found in the archives and unlabeled, not on record.
Odd, I don't remember Columbia being so free with giving out documentation.
Well, when you're a professor, you know. I
places
have
the
certain
silver's nail
privileges,
down.
you know. I was tenure track.
Right. There's a little bit of itching his fingers towards the exorcism box.
Don't give me that look, father.
Hey, Doc, did you ever find that G in there?
You know, no, but the iconography was very similar, and that's what drew me to it. And also, I will say on the gravestones at your house, and I was hoping to look at the others and see if there was anything similar. I think something about this region in this book is connected, and in fact, I felt drawn to come here, compelled. It's how I ended up in such a random location, coming all the way from New York City. It was no coincidence. I was drawn specifically to this place.
Well, ain't that something too?
That's why I think something's happening.
I think something just did happen.
Tegan, mouthful of food, is like, that's what I keep telling you guys.
Man, those grits are good, ain't they, Tegan? And she joins you in the eating. I'd rather you not read that book out loud here if you can help it. I'm not sure what it does or says, and it sounds like you don't either. And you got to be careful experimenting with new words and languages and whatnot. Although it is interesting, ain't it?
It is. I
I'm
feel
always
like
fascinated by stuff like that.
I feel like something in this book could change the world. In fact,
For the
I'm
better
sure
or
of
for
it.
the worse? Because
I
that should
haven't thought about
determine
it.
the continuation of your reading.
I guess we don't know, but I think in the field of linguistics, at least it could change the whole industry, the whole thing.
Change has its place. Tradition has its place. Change for the sake of change very rarely leads to good progress.
But the book wants to be read. I know it.
Many things want things to happen in this world. That doesn't mean they're things that should happen.
I mean, it's just words on a page. It can't mean that much, can they, Father?
Yeah.
Just words.
Did you happen to be at the revival when everything happened? I forgot about that part of the question.
I was not at the revival. I had put out things I thought would protect the town when I felt something wrong. But I was not at the revival.
Words on pages are at the end of the day what caused what happened at the revival. Am I not correct?
It was a combination of things. It was definitely words, but it was also, there was some kind of rods or something that were, one of which was the original that others were based on. But I also think that things are more manifest when you put yourself into them.
And that's true. That's true. But I'm not saying that the book is inherently evil. I'm saying that something that pulls such at the risk of sounding hypocritical, and which is my prerogative as a priest to do so when it suits my mannerisms.
Every priest I ever known has always said the same damn thing.
One of the benefits of being a man of the cloth. There aren't many, this is one of them. Just because books desire to be read and words desire to be spoken doesn't mean there's still not power behind them, might be better left unsaid.
That is definitely true. There are some dangerous things out there. How do you feel about it, Professor? Oh, sorry. Go on, Father.
I'm not telling you to disregard the book. I'm simply urging caution and patience with dealing with it.
Yeah.
As a professional with these things.
One professional to another.
As it were.
I'll be careful with it. And he quickly puts it in his back in his jacket.
Still shoveling grits into her mouth. My bet's on Gazzy.
All right, so there's a John Barleycorn walking around. There's ghosts in the house, which we already knew about those. Up in the one by the guilty hole, and now there's a book speaking to someone.
And there's something in the mine.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's
Some
an
in the
entire
mine.
mushroom grove that gets you really, really freaking high.
Oh yeah, you ought not go there if you can help it. I mean, unless you're going to get material.
We
for
would never
things.
go there, trust me.
I mean, unless you're going to get material for certain things. Taking
Sounds terrible.
finders.
I think I will find many a good use for that. Yes.
Used right, there's value in what can be harvested from there.
Hey, guys, you ever heard of any, I couldn't remember any local legend or nothing that had something to do with eyes in the mines?
Well, yeah, there's always people talking about monsters in the mines because people talk about monsters anywhere it's dark.
That is where they like to hide, in my experience.
Yep. Bad things find solace in darkness.
Guys, you heard any other rumors around town at all? Like,
I hear rumors every day. What do you mean by that?
well, I know you got the gift of gab, but I don't know, just anything out of the ordinary that you've been hearing around town? You know, maybe they've had a red string or two attached to them.
Well, Tegan's always got the red thread.
Anybody else been talking about the John Barleycorn aside from the one that was burning in town?
Yeah, one other person. Hold on, I gotta get her name. Miss Abercrombie, she's been saying that her husband has fallen asleep and has not awakened since the burning of the effigy. And who knows though? I mean, when your husband is a spirit in a log, I'm not sure how one can really help identify or correct that concern.
Yeah, she's a poor thing, ain't she?
Yeah, she misses her husband and seems to believe he is with her in spirit inside the log she carries. So she carries it everywhere.
I can somewhat appreciate that a little bit.
Yeah, she wanted me to call upon him and see if he's all right.
Is that something you can do?
Sometimes depends on the person. Are you asking me something?
Well, I don't know if this is the time or not. but have you heard anything from Ellie or Evie?
I have not. I mean, I would have to reach out to really get anything. It's not like spirits just kind of walk around and start talking to me. But sometimes I can reach out through my connections to the other side, and sometimes they will respond back.
I'd like to do that. I don't know if it's the time.
Make sure you're ready, because it can be harrowing, and it can be risky to your own mind to have words with your dead family, you know. I'm sure that the father has come across people who have lost themselves in grief a second time because they crossed over into conversation with them.
Many times. There are healthy ways to deal with grief. There are dangerous ways to deal with grief. There are harmful ways to deal with grief, both to yourself and to others.
But to be honest though, we don't even know if they've passed on, because their body's never been found, have they?
No, I tried.
Yeah,
I really did.
And you can't call upon the dead if they ain't dead. I don't know if they are. We could try
universe
one time.
Did say they're not dead, but the universe was also on mushrooms.
What I'm having a. I don't want to steal our time here with you. I feel like we got big fish to fry, and I mean, granted, my Ellie and my Evie are one hell of a big fish, but the worms and the tree, and I don't know, they might be. I don't know if it's all connected or not.
Look, well, if the doc is right, we're all gonna be dead soon anyways. Wouldn't you just rather want to know one way or the other?
Get your closure.
Well, you have a you got away with words. I guess you only live once. Well, for the most part, I think.
If you're lucky.
Well, would y'all be willing to join me in this? I feel like I'd like the backup.
And when you say that, Gaz immediately turns her attention to Father Bartimaeus, waiting for responses from everyone, but definitely.
If it was all right with you, I would rather supervise is the wrong term. I would rather observe and be ready, because sometimes, as Gazzy might warn you, she should at least, sometimes what is called upon is not what answers.
Yeah, I like that. I'd appreciate that, Father.
If that's all right with you, Madam Smythe.
You can do what you want as long as you don't interfere. I would not want to have anything happen that breaks the bond. That can cause harm too.
It can. You are correct.
I mean, well, I've been saying you need closure from all this anyways.
I appreciate you.
To do so, you gotta
talk to dead people.
You gotta bring a gift, and it has to be something that matters to you. You cannot do this without an offering.
Wow. Okay. I think there are only a handful of things that really meant much to me in this world. There's my Ellie and my Evie, my kin, and my bees. But I don't know if I can. I don't know that I want to put, say, my queen through it. That just don't feel right.
Whatever you sacrifice, you will not get back. You do not want to sacrifice your queen. I know that. It is, after all, a sacrifice. It is given up.
Well, I did just come into a brooch. I had every meaning to bury in my yard as a last piece of new kin of mine. Well, newly found kin of mine. You think that would work?
It might.
Okay.
The family, it sounds like it has some meaning to you now.
And
anyone else that wishes to participate, they need to bring their own sacrifice also.
So I think Tegan already knows what they're going to sacrifice, but is not going to tell Walter what it is.
All right. What about
Wait,
you?
if I don't have anything to sacrifice, does that mean I have to leave the room?
No, you can sit. We can pull energy from you through our hands in contact. It just means without a sacrifice, you cannot ask questions. You will not be made fully in contact.
That's fine.
out of character. What about them goggles?
Then he will fight
I'll
you.
fight
for
you.
goggles.
I'll fight you. She's so excited. She has her little. She's turning into a little mini Tegan with her goggles. Oh my god, that'll make me sick. I can't do that.
Sorry, not sorry, Father.
What about you, Professor?
I think I'll watch. If that's all right with you, Walter.
Sure, that's fine.
When would you like to do this?
What do y'all think? As soon as possible, or
I mean, yeah, might as
get out of
well.
the business?
We might as well just do it now, get it out of the way, and then figure out what the heck's going on.
If we're real lucky, maybe we'll. I mean, I really hope that we can talk to Ellie and Evie. Well, on the second thought, now that I think about it, maybe it'd be better if we didn't talk to them. Maybe that means there's a chance they're alive.
It
But
might mean that.
if we make contact with something, maybe we can ask it if it knows anything. Maybe it'll have connections we don't.
Almost anything can happen when you open yourself up to the spirit world. Not all of them necessarily good or positive, so you have to be prepared, and we have to be prepared to break this circle if needed to separate the other side from this side.
Well, I tell you, I don't think I could ask to be in any better hands. So I think I'm about as ready as I'm going to be.
All right then. And she gets up and she goes and closes the curtains, stops the light from coming in. And her curtains, when she closes them, they deaden this room to darkness. But that little orb, actually it's kind of a big orb, it never seems to lose light. There is like an internal light to that. It's a dim glow, and there's a swirling going on in the middle of like a fog. All right then. Let's do this then. She goes and starts lighting the candles all around the room. And she starts, you can tell there's like an audible change to her breathing and her talking slows down a little bit. All right, so those involved are going to be you, Walt, and Tegan. And those that are not going to be involved will be Benny and Professor Hayes and Father Bartimaeus, correct? Will any of you be lending your energy by holding our hands across with us? All right.
Benny would. She's really curious.
Yeah, certainly.
All right. What about you, Father Bartimaeus?
Keeping a step back,
All right.
watching his hand on his kit just in case.
And she says, all right, may I please have your hands? And you all take hands in a circle around this table. Can you place in front of you the object of your sacrifice to make sure that the spirits feel properly compensated for the effort it takes them to get through? What do you put in front of you, Tegan?
So I think Tegan pulls out that picture of Mom and Pa that she rescued from the house.
Oh.
It's the only actual picture she has of all three of them together. Some fancy man came to town right after they adopted her. So it's the only picture of all three of them together that she has. And I think she lays it face down in front of her because she doesn't want Walt to know what she's giving up.
Oh, that kills me.
All right. Father, can you please have a seat over there so that, I would rather your energy not be driving a spike into this. I have a feeling you have quite a bit of energy to your spirit. And I would not want it to interfere or cut through in ways that would not be useful.
And now I'm ahead and go take my seat.
And she takes the hands of the rest of you, and she starts saying words that you don't necessarily recognize the words, although you do think it's something related to English, but maybe not English. And then some words make sense to you. Can you all please close your eyes? Bring your breathing down. You need to be calm because we have got to reach over and across. There is no simple formula for reaching across, but you do need to declare your intention to commune with the spirits, and you have to invite or call the spirit you wish to speak to, and you need to bring gratitude and peace to your visitors when they come. If you wish to join in and you have not put in something to sacrifice, you may do so at a later moment. If the need arises, please only break one hand for a moment to do so. Now, I'm going to begin chanting in a moment. I would like you to join in once I begin. But the words themselves are not so powerful. It is the fact that we are bringing ourselves together and creating a rhythm that will transcend the dimensions from here to that of the other side. There are spiritual affairs, I have to warn you, that sometimes spirits are dealing with or wish to deal with on this side, and they may ask things of you. I cannot tell them they cannot. I cannot stop them from asking you. It is up to you whether you wish to take on something like that. I would warn it is not a safe thing to do, and you can find yourself in quite a dangerous situation if they are not who you think they were. All right. And she begins bringing a chant very slowly up. And it seems simple enough. It's pretty repetitive, and it brings kind of a warmth to the language. There's no high pitch, no low tone. It is very much within the range of what is easy for everyone to accomplish. We reach out to you spirits across the divide. We're looking for individuals who have not had a brush with our world yet. There are some names that will be brought about in a moment. We know you are beyond the grave and beyond what we should normally be able to attain, but persistence, patience, and our willingness to discover the spirit world and share with you what we know from this one might offer to you the needs that will help you along your path. We have our sacrifices in place and ready to offer up. And when she's speaking and the chanting starts, Father, the first thing you notice is the candles start to slowly flicker. Some of them go out. Some of them come back on. And then the orb itself starts to get a faster swirl in it. All right, Walter, you go first. Who are you trying to call? Say their name beginning to end with meaning and with your deepest reverence for that spirit.
Evie, darling? You out there?
Keep calling. Sometimes it takes more than once.
Evie. Evie, my bride.
Walter. And you hear your name coming across. I don't know where I am. I don't think I'm dead. But I'm separated or something. Where are you? I can't see you. I don't...
Honey, I'm here. I'm here. It's kind of like we're talking on one of them newfangled telephones. Do you remember anything?
I remember the earth rising up around me, around us both, pulling us under like torn from the ground and sucked into a hole that never got dark, that never got any light.
Honey, is Ellie with you?
We're both here. We don't know where we are. And then there's a sort of a rumbling in the ground around. You feel that rumble that you had felt before shake for just a moment, and they're gone.
No, come back.
I
Ellie?
don't know what happened there. That was interesting. And when you look, the pendant is gone.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. She don't think she's dead.
I don't know.
We'll speak of this after, because I think we need to have conversations that are a little private, perhaps. Tegan, what about you? You ready?
So I think Pagan seeing or hearing Walter's distress is going to take one hand because they were told only one hand.
Yep.
And is going to slide their sacrifice still face down in front of Walter and be like, check in on your girl. And then just go back to the being in the circle.
Wow.
I don't even know what to do.
This is on you. You can attempt.
I break one hand and I flip over the picture.
Okay.
Taking I can't. This is yours.
Mom, Pa would want you to know how your kid's doing.
And like kind of just hand on the shoulder. I really appreciate it. Evie, you out there, darling? Or excuse me, Ellie.
Yeah. and then there's a swirl in the orb, and Walter, you see in that orb your girl. I can't see you, Pa. It's so
Hey there,
dark.
darling.
It's dark everywhere. I feel things like holding me in, and it feels like worms are rolling around my body. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck in a hole. I'm stuck in a hole. There ain't no light.
Listen, honey, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you and your mother.
I don't know where we are. Yeah, come find us. I don't want to be here no more. It's so dark. It's so dark. It's dark all the time. And there's only wiggling things. It's so... I don't know what to do. I can't even move. But I feel it. I feel things around us. I know Mother's nearby, but I can't even touch her.
Honey, do you hear anything?
I can't hear nothing. Every now and then there's a... like the earth cracking or something.
Honey, I'm gonna find you. And I think I got an idea.
And the ground rumbles again, and Gaz is like, that is twice. That is not what I was expecting. And while this is going on, Father, it takes you a little while, but you realize that Professor Hayes looks like he's been in a trance this whole time. While you're listening to all of them, the words and the chants going on, you start seeing visions inside that orb that you weren't planning on. You did not offer a sacrifice up. You see trees sprouting thorns, and they vibrate forbidden secrets into the wind, and you hear the sounds, the whispers, and you have heard them before, but now you hear them in ways where they make sense to you. The words make sense. The order don't mean nothing. The ideas, though, you hear of a blood moon that bleeds shadows and rivers of crystal that ebb through the veins of the earth. And then a spectral fog, a sun shattered into shards, casting a kaleidoscope of carnivorous flowers that consume the daylight. Roots of ancient trees rise up and clasp the stars, pulling down the heavens to be devoured. A sky turned abyss. Oceans boil, waves birth in larger waves that devour continents, the residue of drowned dreams in the bodies of dreamers. Sunsets are no longer painted in hues of warmth, but instead drip down like molten sorrow, burning the horizon with ashen remnants of a universe unraveled. The air turns to glass, shattered on the weight of ethereal voices that you hear whispering out to you, and with words and visions you hear and recognize, they tell of the inevitableness of the collapse of the cosmos into a void where madness and reality intertwine, bound by eternal chaos. And Father, you see that Professor Hayes' eyes have rolled into his head, and he looks frozen in time, and his hands are locked tight. Tegan, you and Benny on both sides feel the tightness of his grip. It is painful even. He seems to have locked in and cannot seem to let go. And then
Professor, that hurts.
you don't hear anything, Professor, except what's already in your mind. You see these visions, and they are rolling past like a picture show where they come back and forth and they repeat over and over, and you see them.
Madam Smythe and this.
And there are letters at the end of the picture like a broken film strip, and you recognize every single letter. And Gazzy Smythe rises up. I can't let go. I can't let go. And she tries to let her hands go of the rest of you, and she can't seem to let them go. Professor, can you make me a using magic roll? Do you have using magic?
Yeah. And I'll put 2 levels of effort into that too. All right, so it's a 14 on the die. So I guess put
So
a 20.
All right. And his eyes roll back down, and suddenly you feel that you're crushing the hands of those around next to you, and the globe goes hazy again, and everyone is staring at you. And Father, you and Gazzy see his eyes roll back normal, and he is dripping sweat, like just.
I snatch Benny away. The second he loosens even a little bit, I snatch Benny away.
Some ritual, huh?
What happened, Professor? Normally this is a way for you to reach out, but it felt like something reached out for you from the other side. Not. Are you all right? You look like you've been drenched in water.
I'm fine. It was just a little intense. The voices, whatever's going around here, I think it's just getting to me,
You think so?
I think so.
Now listen, Professor. I'd like to say that I trust you. But
you all didn't see that, by the way. Only Professor Hayes saw that. You just felt the pressure of him not being able to break, and the rest of you stuck.
But I need you to be completely honest with me. What did you see?
You know how I said this whole town's done for?
Yeah.
What I saw wasn't the end of this town. It was the end of everything. Reality.
Did it have something to do with those worms?
I think it did.
Nope.
I did see worms again, and many of the same after effects of what I had seen with fields turning to ash and oceans boiling and things of that nature, which were also present with the worms.
Look, I ain't a guns blazing kind of gal, but it seems like we need to go blow up or shoot up some sort of giant worm things to get back your girls and to keep Doomsday from falling on our heads.
Something's connected here. Get that red string out, cause Ellie and Evie were both talking about there being worms around them, but they're not. They don't think they're dead. No, I don't think so either. I can feel them. And there was a rumbling. I don't know if you felt it, but it felt like them rumblings that we were feeling in town. Like they were coming from underneath our feet. Like
I think we gotta go in the mine. I don't want to go in there, but I think we gotta go in that mine.
There's too much pointing toward it. Them eyes, the earthquakes, the worms. Let's strap up. Let's get some. Tegan, you got some of them bombs?
I got quite a few.
I think we're gonna need them.
And
Also, maybe me being the voice reason isn't where we should be with, bombs and mine and undergroundness.
I would rather want to have them and not need them than need them and not have them.
Oh, we'll have them. I'm just saying, don't toss them unless we're gonna die. Because we'll probably die.
When you take Benny away, where do you take her to, and what do you? and what happens there.
I think he just pulls me away from the table,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just pulling her away from the table and away from the professor.
Oh, okay. All right.
And catching on that the father is like engaged in dealing with this. I think Benny sort of hides or cowers a little bit behind the chair that Tegan's sitting in. Just
Okay.
got
Erwin
her
sees
hands
that.
behind Tegan.
And he says, Benny, I'm sorry to keep saying these things in front of you. It's not right.
I know something weird's going on here. And I don't really know what it means, but it's just scary.
It's very scary.
And if it's any consolation, here's your 63 cents back.
That's the real 3 session payoff.
And scene.
And that is the perfect place to break for the night.
Oh my
Goodness.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight in joining those in the afterlife and those from the afterlife joining them back. We will see you in a week. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Not everyone.
Burning rock, crackle smoke out of the mountain's mouth, hollowed by a cut, by a slash, by a fiery blow. Running through the valley like it's running through my veins, while red-eyed crows keep watch underneath the blood-red moon. My slunch white soul cries out to rise up against the tide of dusty songs cut hard from the dark mountain stone. Cut hard from the dark mountain stone. Cut hard from the dark mountain.